This is our probability meter, and we're going to look at all of these different terms. If we go to the center, we can see 50%, and it ranges from likely to very likely, extremely likely, all the way up to certain. And if we go down from 50%, we have unlikely, very unlikely, extremely unlikely, and impossible. And we are going to talk about what all of these different terms mean. Our first probability term that we're going to look at is certain. And certain means that it will always happen. If there is any doubt at all, it cannot be certain. It has to happen every time. So here, you can see that I am holding a ball. If I hold this ball up and let go, I know based on my rules of gravity that this ball must fall to the ground. It is certain that this ball will drop to the ground when I let go. Point proven. Our next term that we're going to be discussing today is extremely likely. This is the one where a lot of times we want to say certain, but if it's not 100% guaranteed, we can't use that word and we have to say it's extremely likely. For example, most of you, when you enter 5th grade, plan on moving to 6th grade. And 99.9% of the time, that's going to happen. Pretty much almost all the time. But there is no guarantee that you get to go to 6th grade just because you showed up to 5th grade. You have to earn it. So we would use extremely likely because pretty much everyone will, but there's always that small chance that you might not. For our next term, we're discussing very likely. This is where there's a really great chance. It's not as guaranteed as extremely likely, and obviously it's not 100% of the time, but it happens pretty often. Looking at the weather today, blue skies, not too many clouds, temperature feels nice. I'd say there's a very likely chance that we're going to have outdoor recess today. So far we've already talked about certain and how it always happens, extremely likely and how it nearly always happens but we can't guarantee it, very likely there's an extremely good chance, and we can see these percentages going along with it. For example, very likely is ranging from approximately 90% to 80%. So that gives us a rough idea, but these terms are loose. The last one we're going to look at is likely. Taking here a look at likely, using this very rough sketch of a circle representing a spinner, we have more than half the section is blue and less than half is red. So if we were to ask the question, what are the chances of landing on blue, it would definitely be likely because it's over 50%, but it's really not a strong chance of occurring. It's not even 75%, so that would put us in the likely range. The next term we're discussing is 50-50, and this is when there's exactly a 50% chance of it happening. It's going to happen half the time. I'll take my trusty coin. I have my heads and my tails. There's only one of two options. You flip it, 50-50, heads or tails. What do you think? Tails. We are going to quickly discuss some common 50-50 mistakes. It cannot be confused with the word equal. Equal does not mean that there is a 50% chance. For example, in this first image, we can see the different colors, and I would want to know the chances of landing on blue. And we might be bound to say likely because there's more blue. But if we actually measure the areas, the blue is only making up 50% chance, 50% of the circle. So therefore it would not be likely, it would be a 50% chance. Another common misconception, and this is talking about that word equal, is over here on the second image. If I asked for the chances of landing on red, some people might say 50-50 because there's an equal chance for all four sections. However, it is unlikely that it will land in this section because it is only making up 25%. So the red is only worth 25%, making it unlikely for it to occur. We just took a look at unlikely, and we can see that it's below 50% and ranging to about a 25% chance of happening. So when things are going to happen less than half of the time, but there's still some okay chance of it occurring, that's when we use the term unlikely. Our next probability term is very unlikely. Very unlikely means there is a very poor chance of happening, and I really don't think it's going to. For example, if this is where we had to have recess today, I'd say there's a bad chance of it happening. Oh, come on, lottery. My chances are only 1 in 10 million. Extremely unlikely is when it's near impossible, but there's still just a little chance of it happening, like the lottery. The odds are extremely against you, but there's always that chance. The last one is impossible. It's never going to happen. Ever. Like, I'm never going to touch the sun. Just doesn't count.